and to get free rides sometimes to their university. So Quebec is one of the easternmost provinces in Canada, and the official language of Quebec is French, so they don't have to speak English to you there. And they have a separatist party that runs in the federal election called the Bloc Québécois, and their entire goal is to just separate Quebec from the rest of Canada, become their own country. They had 2 referendums, and they came within 0.5% of splitting off from Canada, so that was really serious. Food, we eat more or less the same thing. I guess Canada's known for its poutine, French fries with gravy and cheese on it. That's a French thing. Well, Quebec French, not real French. We also have free health care, which is really important to us, something we're very proud of. So that's all controlled by the government, and you don't have to buy any sort of insurance or anything. You just have it if you're a Canadian citizen. So anything you need, you're 100% covered medically for most health things. And kind of dental, you'll get a dental plan through work, which is also by the government, and you'll pay into it a portion, but you're covered large amounts, so there's never really any need to worry about it. A misconception that maybe some Americans certainly don't in this class have about Canadians. We have a prime minister, not a president. It's the same thing, the head of government in the country. We don't say a that much. Maybe sometimes. No one lives in igloos or anything like that. Although there are polar bears in northern Manitoba. But I don't know if you have a bigger map of any of this kind of just up here in Hudson Bay. Some cultural differences. We both have a dollar. We have the Canadian dollar. You have the American dollar. We have coins called loonies and toonies, which are $1 and $2. The Canadian dollar is really strong right now. I think it's at about $1.03 or $4 American. So both Canada and the U.S. were kind of colonies of Britain, and America fought for their independence, whereas Canada just kind of asked for it from Britain, and they just granted it to us. Although Canada got their independence in 1867, but they were never fully independent from Britain until 1982, I believe, because Britain had the Constitution and they could never make changes to it to make amendments to our Constitution, as it belonged to Britain still. Canada-U.S. relations. We have NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. So Canada and the U.S. are the 2 largest trading partners in the world. We share the longest border. Yeah.
Can we ask you questions later? Something that you may or may not know?
Sure. Go with the questions.
Are you open to questions now, or are you still?
Yep.
I have a question. So, if Canada has a long history, there are certain provinces in Canada that have certain history and nobility. Would you say that the settlers of Canada had a very strong dictation about what they wanted to negotiate with England? And since Queen Elizabeth was on your leaving, or was it Victoria? I'm not.
It's Queen Elizabeth.
I thought it was Victoria. So I have a question regarding just an absent-minded thing. Do you know much of the architecture? Like, I heard there was actually a Duggan Castle, some of the buildings that they built. Do you still respect those founders who built those buildings for you in Canada, or is it just kind of like lost in translation?
I think that some things like that are largely unknown just because those are the first settlers that came over. We're talking about way on the East Coast.
Well, I'm not saying on the East Coast or the West Coast, I'm just saying that people behind the architecture, like the Botanic Garden and the Vancouver Island.
Sure, those people are still known, and those are like large tourist sites still. They put their names on coffee mugs.
Well, I'm just curious, just like the Rose Garden, you know, and I just thought that, and my grandfather's name is actually Douglas as well. But yeah, I had a French Canadian grandmother, and her last name was Fleur.
Oh, okay.
And have you ever heard of a guy with Fleur?
Yeah.
He was like the serious hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that was the same guy, but you know, I'm not sure. But it's just lost in me.
Okay.
I just thought it was cool. Because like when I studied, it was actually like a castle in Canada, and then I was like, there has to be history here. So I thought it was pretty interesting. So that history, you know that people are so respectful of everything. I know I'm accentuating things, but thank you.
Okay. Actually, one thing I wanted to talk about was holidays. So we celebrate Thanksgiving on a different day. Ours is in October as opposed to November. We have different holidays like Canada Day instead of Independence Day. Ours is July 1st. And most people can get that off work. We have Labor Day. I don't know if that's an American holiday. In September, yeah.
I don't know you.
Coming up in 2 weeks on Monday is Victoria Day. That celebrates Queen Victoria, which is a big part of BC, and then the capital city of BC is Victoria after Queen Victoria. So that's a provincial holiday.
Is there anything special you do for that holiday, or for?
Not so much for Victoria Day, but for Canada Day, there's celebrations all over the country, and we have there's usually parties at like barbecues and things at the parks, and they have a huge cake of the country, and there's fireworks, and people get out and celebrate and enjoy it.
What about Boxing Day? What is that about?
Boxing Day is, I guess that's kind of like our Black Friday when everything goes on sale and everyone rushes out to the stores. The deals.
What about Christmas? Just similar in the States?
Yeah.
On the same day?
Yeah, same thing. This is the day.
Do you guys notify, do you still use Père Noël in the Norwegian, or do you use Santa Claus, or does Santa Claus have a different meaning?
No, Santa. We used to call him Santa.
Just Santa? No Père Noël?
No, well, maybe the French and Quebec refer to him as that.
What day is Canada Day?
July 1st.
What do you do for Thanksgiving? Is it called Thanksgiving or?
Yes.
Why in October?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay.
So we do it in October, and it's the same.
The same meaning behind
Yes.
the pilgrims coming and all that?
Yeah, the legends and mythology behind that, is it pretty much like between the native people and the colonists? Is that what Thanksgiving means?
Yeah, I believe it's more or less the same thing, right, about the Europeans coming over and dealing with the Aboriginals.
Do they also have a story where the Aboriginals helped them survive the first winter? Is that part of it?
Yeah, they gave them birds and taught them how to hunt and live off the land.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's the relationship like between the European, I mean, it's a pretty mixed group of people, especially like in big cities like Vancouver, right?
Between the different races, or specifically
And also
the natives?
with the native people too.
Okay, well, the natives are treated very well in Canada. So if you are 1/16th or more, any kind of First Nations, then you get free education. You get a lot of tax breaks on things, like if you buy a vehicle or something, you don't pay taxes. You have hunting rights. You can hunt whenever you want. You don't need a hunting license. You can hunt out of season. A lot of times if you live on a reserve, you're just given a monthly paycheck from the government. So that's good, but a lot of times that's abused because they won't get a job or be contributing to society. and then they kind of waste away, and then there's a lot of problems involved with that, like alcoholism and, yeah.
I actually got a call from one of my mother's old friends in Saskatchewan. I love Canada so much. But in Saskatchewan, they're taking care of a large wildlife refugee up there. And I just thought it was pretty interesting how they would take somebody, you know, and just put them in a position because they're qualified to take care of something in that city. Used to be an artist.
Oh.
That way.
That's nice. You know whereabouts?
Saskatchewan area, a little bit above Montana, like the borderline between Montana and I'm not sure what.
Just kind of like in a small town or
Um,
reserve?
I'm not sure if it was reserved or, I think it was his land. It was his land.
Okay.
You know, he was, you know, that kind of, not freeloader, but.
Right, okay.
An artist, sculptor, and.
What about the education system? Is it similar to the United States?
Yes, so you go kindergarten to grade 12, and you start kindergarten